Because what I'm about to say, if you don't feel bad about it, I don't give a fuck. What you know what I'm about to say? Fuck Rude Boy, fuck Mr. P, bring back Psqare.
My people, una remember the time wey Peter and Paul get quarrel, wey social media catch fire say wetin go make two brothers get quarrel, two brothers when e be say that they do well, that they do fine. Now some come dey even dey talk say na they are one of the wives na cause am and all that. I hope so una remember. In fact, wetin cause am, Peter don come out come explain everything. Though say the story long o, if you get patient you fit watch am, if you no get patient you fit just dey scroll am. You go just watch the important thing when e be say e cause their quarrel. My brother, some people dey talk say there is no brother in business. Some go talk say we na blood na. My people, mona lis ten to wetin cause the quarrel of Peter and Paul. And again e be like say the quarrel don still start again. Mona watch am. As una dey watch am, abeg mona no forget to follow my page Royal Gist Entertainment, and don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel Royal Gist Entertainment.
Because what I'm about to say, if you don't feel bad about it, I don't give a fuck. What you know what I'm about to say? Fuck Rude Boy, fuck Mr. P, bring back Psqare. After that reunion, so-called reunion, that I thought the reunion was for us brothers. Next day being Friday, Jude, I think Paul called me and said I should come to his house. I came. I saw him and Jude. Jude has the document. I said, hey Peter, take this document, sign here. Paul, sign here. Paul was picking to sign. I said, what's the document for? He said, oh, it's to open Access Bank account. That people are beginning to call for shows, you know, calling hundreds of thousands, hundreds of millions, but we need to put the money in Access. He works with Access, he knows the... I said, calling for shows for who? So what do I mean? I said, Paul, you're not there, Jude. You said, tell me for what? Peter, do you need to go there? I said, no, Paul, come on now. Paul now said, he said, no, they do Psqare. Jude was not like, what's all the whole paparazzi and all that? I said, no, we're back as brothers, bro. I'm done with Psqare. I'm not interested in Psqare anymore. He said, why? I said, has any other thing brought problem for us before except Psqare? He said, but that means you don't have. I said, no. I forgive him, bro. Don't get me wrong. I forgive him, but I'm not interested. While that was going on, Paul was trying to, convince me. Jude said, Paul, leave. No one, I know what to do. Jude left. Apparently, the next day, being Saturday, Jude then now sent for my manager, MM, and the guy that was managing Paul, Sheil, called them together. We all went to Paul's studio. And I said, that Peter I get your point. But baby, you don't want what has happened before to happen again, but no problem. What happened is that he's going to bring these two individuals to the team. I said, to the team to manage what? I'm not trying to stress them more, but you need to give me a reason. And I said, that him, Jude, will be the official manager. My manager, MM, will be assistant manager. And Sheil, Paul's manager, will be road manager. He offered them money, how much he would be paying them every show. I started laughing. Paul, my manager, and Paul's manager even started laughing. Paul started feeling like it's becoming an embarrassment moment for Jude. He now called me and said, he doesn't like this thing. He took me to the living room. He doesn't like this in that time. Look how I'm embarrassing Jude. I said, Paul, what's embarrassment here? Let's be honest, bro. Let's be very honest. While that was going on, Paul said, is it because of sharing formula? Because in this share, we share 3 ways. In fact, we don't even share 3 ways. How we share money is, I'll come and say, hey, I need to pay my kids' school fees. How much? Maybe it's 12 million naira. Jude will sign a check 12 million and give me. Sign 12, Paul. Sign 12 for himself. That was how we were running Psqare. Oh, Peter, you want to buy this car? Take. Paul, take. Him, take. Now, Paul now say, you know one thing. It is because of the sharing formula, Peter. So I will stop all this. Me and you 35. Jude go take 30. I said, Paul, no. Take 30 to do what? To manage one Psqare. I'm not interested. And I look at Paul, I said, I ask you one question. I want you speaking now. I beg you. You did try make Jude be our manager. How come 5.5 years? Me and you know they together. How come Jude no be your manager? You know now. Peter, you know, if Jude be my manager, everybody go to think that 2 against 1. Really? That is exactly what it has been. So let's make something clear here. It don't look as if I hate Jude or I don't like him to manage us. But let's recall back that Beyonce fired her own father. Usher Raymond fired his own mother. Late Michael Jackson fired his own father. We, Psqare, we even told our own mother to step aside. So what is all this? Your brother must manage you. And I know a lot of people start saying, oh, how come I don't want Jude to be our manager? Let's be very honest, guys. Before Jude came in, or before we brought Jude in as our manager, we've had 3 several managers. One, Chioma Ugoji, she went from being a dance group manager to Psqare's manager. Later on, our mom became our manager for like few months. Then, of course, you all know Bayo Odusami, popularly known as Howie T. That's the guy that actually discovered us fully. He became our manager for over at least 6 years before we now brought in Jude. Now the question is, within these 3 before Jude, have we had any, has Peter and Paul ever had any fight or any issue? Because none of them would take sides. None of them took sides. At the moment where Paul was trying to convince me, and I said, I actually gave it a thought. Maybe try to give it a try. I said, okay, Paul, you want Psqare back? No problem. Let's go back upstairs. I've decided to make an offer. He was trying to convince me, and we went upstairs where the 2 managers, including Jude, were there. And I said, so guys, Paul, you guys want, here is what it's going to look like. I and Paul will set up a company. I and Paul will be only signatory. I and Paul will take care of every administrative when it comes to finance, signatory, everything. And I and Paul will go with 40-40. The 3 manager, which is now Jude, Shehu, and MM, will go with 20%. Jude doesn't understand that if that's the case, he'd rather work for free. And I now said, gentlemen and lady, Jude now works for free. And that's how I ended that meeting. This is the Psqare everybody think they are back. Within 4 or 5 days, me and Paul didn't see eye to eye after that incident. Until Paul now came to me. After we went to Sierra Leone, because there was a show that I put for Mr. P today in Sierra Leone, the next day for Paul. We finally called him that we were coming together. After we went to Sierra Leone and came back, Paul now said to me, so there's nothing for Jude. I said, not about Jude. I'm not even doing Psqare. Paul, it's not about Jude here. Can we just come back as brothers? Can we live life as brothers first? Let me even experience it. Let me experience living as brothers. Now everything looks like there's a competition running around everybody. I don't like it. And I said, okay, no problem. I'll take your second option. I said, which is my second option? Man, you should set up a company, blah, 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 blah. Unfortunately, Jude cannot take that offer. So me, I will continue and say no problem. We sent our lawyer, he came. Brought the document, set up, mode of work. Everything Peter and Paul 50-50. Every decision 50-50. Sharing formula 50-50. We signed. We started up Square Root Entertainment.